Okay. Good morning. No. Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. This is a global hello for all the people around the planet, including the extraterrestrials. And welcome to Unbreakable Light with Glory, where we talk about depression, anxiety, and PTSD and family stuff, trauma, and etc holistic way and natural way to always make you feel better. And here, Gloria Londoño. How are you today? This is a very first episode, no, maybe the third episode of this year. I got a break. I need to have a break to be able to focus in my new book that is coming next month. And I'm so proud of me that I finished that project that took me 2 years, and we're going to talk about it. But besides that, also we're going to have another topic, another book that we're going to talk about because it's very similar, the emotions that in those two books happen. So the other book is for my friend Angeline, that we're going to give her a welcome in a very short moment. But yeah, today the show is gonna about transformation, empowerment, and to help you to feel better. I know there's a lot of people right now in a very complicated or toxic relationships that they don't know how to get out of them. Or also there's a lot of women and men, because we cannot only say women, there's a lot of women and men that also have a lot of trauma from the last relationship. So today we're going to talk about that. So let's bring Angeline to Unbreakable Life with Glory, and let's talk about transformation and empowerment. Hello, Angeline.
Hello, Gloria. How are you? How are you this evening?
I'm very good. Thank you. I'm so happy to have you um, coming back, and I'm coming back with you. And I'm so happy
You.
because we both have something to share tonight that is very important for us, because I we did these two books with our soul, sharing our story and be very vulnerable to share that, and to be free, to
Hmm.
be able also to tell the people our story for them to be free too. So before we start with the whole entire books stories, I want to tell everybody who's Angeline.
Who is Angeline?
Who
Yes.
is
Oh my
Angeline?
gosh. Well, I am not the same person that I was 15 and a half years ago. And I went through a transition. So I was in a very toxic marriage with my, ex-husband. I lived and worked in New York City, and we were making six-figure income, and people thought that we were the Hollywood couple,
Mm-hmm.
and that did not transpire that way. And I remember in December of 1999, I remember that night when he and I, just like, we had an argument, and the argument became heated and I was lying in my bed and I was getting ready to get up because I said I'll just go into the other room and sleep for the night and let him cool down. So when I got up, I didn't make it into the other room. He got up, took me from behind, he grabbed my neck, literally grabbed my neck and threw me against the wall right next to the bathroom, and I fell backwards. And that was a moment where I was just lying back and I was like, am I going to make it tonight? I honestly thought that I was going to die that night. And lo and behold, I looked up in the ceiling, and what is not unusual is that he realized what he did and he took me to the emergency room. But I remember lying back and I'm looking up and I'm saying, I'm just praying. I'm just praying that I could live and just get through the night because my nose was broken. I was black and blue all over. I was bleeding, so just enormous amount, like a bloody nose, but it was really, like I was in horrible shape. So that night when I went to the emergency room, I was in ICU all night, and the surgeon came out, and the surgeon said you were going to need reconstructive nose surgery.
Wow.
Yeah, reconstructive nose surgery. And so lo and behold, we left the hospital at 5 o'clock in the morning. I was there all night, went home, and I basically slept for most of the day. And 2 days later, I was back in the hospital. Yeah, with the operation, and the operation was successful. However, I became sick because they gave me too much Demerol.
Right.
So when they gave me too much Demerol, I got sick, and then they said, and then they kept me overnight, and the abuse went on for another 8 years. And people will ask, well, why did you stay so long?
Correct.
And I point this out in the book that I wrote, in my chapter. It's because we feel ashamed. I felt ashamed to share my story, and to be, to share my story. Even to my parents, I was afraid. I was afraid to share my story with friends, but I know that there was, financial abuse, there was verbal abuse, a lot of verbal abuse heaped on me. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I'm just like, I am at my wits' end. And I had lost my corporate job, and I felt like I lost my sense of identity, which happened. I lost my identity. So what happened was I woke up one morning in May with an epiphany that I was going to file for divorce. And that's exactly what I did. I filed for divorce. So,
And when you file for, when he broke your nose and then you decide to file for divorce, that happens after 8 years. So
yeah,
he broke your nose and you took 8 years to make the decision.
exactly. Yes. It was actually in 2010 that I filed for divorce.
So all this, when he broke your nose, you had the surgery. What happened in those years with him? He was better, he was worse. How he was after that?
That's a good question. It was a combination of both. Like, he was better for a while. We were traveling. We were working in New York City, making six-figure income, and and then it got progressively worse. So what happened is in 2008, when the stock market crashed, we lost almost our life savings. And that really put him down the rabbit hole. Then he blamed me for it. Like, he blamed me for that, which wasn't the case, because I was
Correct.
the one out there on the road, making a name for myself, and I was bringing in the income. I was bringing in the money, but he didn't appreciate that. And what I realized was that he was writing out balance transfer checks against my credit
Wow.
so he could buy mutual funds, commingling of funds. So I found myself $50,000 in the hole. And I wrote out a check for $5,000 because I didn't care at this point. I said, I'm in debt right now. So I said, what's another $5,000? For me, it was peace of mind. Peace of mind. So that's exactly what I decided to file for divorce.
So let me ask you, let me go back a little bit because this happens to a lot of women and men too that are being abused physical.
Mm,
So he broke your nose, you went to recuperation with your nose, and then you said that he was on and off, like nice, sometimes no nice, whatever.
right.
But at that point, when you had that trauma of your nose,
Mm.
you thought in one point when he was nice to you, you thought he was gonna change and he was gonna really be better.
Yes, I thought that he was going to change and really be better.
because you thought that he felt guilty or what he did to you.
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And that was like a little bit of like for a little bit, and then he became who he was.
Exactly. Exactly. He became exactly who he was. Exactly. So I thought things were going to get better and I thought he was going to change. And I realized that, later on, he was not going to change. I couldn't change him. He was the only one who could make that change. And I realized as more time went on, I went to the public library, I educated myself on domestic violence, and I realized that this marriage was not going anywhere. And I drew a line in the sand because there are, a lot of women, especially today, post COVID, they are afraid to leave
Yes.
because of the financial. And even though I was $50,000 in the hole, I didn't care. I didn't care at that point. I said, I'm just going to go and do it for my peace of mind. So I went through like a reconstruction. I went through a transition and reconstruction because I knew that I could regain my power back. I educated myself on domestic violence. I sought therapy and I went to therapy for 1 year.
So in all that study that you did, do you find out why we as a human or as a people, because I don't want to refer men and women as a people, when we get betrayed or abused physical, why we tends to like think that the other person's gonna be different after they already hurt us?
Right, exactly, exactly. Yeah, they
What is like what did you find out that was your issue, that you stay there and you trust that he was gonna be different?
well, I thought that he was going to change, and like the fact that we worked together in the business, um, it ended up, it didn't end very well. What happened was I ended up going out to work for other corporations because I wanted to make a name for myself.
Right.
And he was very controlling, he was very manipulative, and he was verbally abusive. And you don't realize sometimes that it's happening. You don't realize it. You
Because
know,
you get it's because you get used to
you get
that.
used to it. You get used to it. You become conditioned. You become conditioned to believe that you're not worthy anymore. And your self esteem starts to plummet and go downhill. And, I mean, there were times where I was crying myself to sleep at night because I said, how do I deal with this? How do I deal with this? And, and, but I found a good therapist, and, the therapist, and I found a coach who mentored me for 1 year, and I came to realize that I could live on my own.
And that's the number one fear for a lot of people. They are in relationships that they
Mm,
want to get out and cannot get out, and they don't want to get out because of that fear.
because of that fear. Correct. Correct. They don't want to get out because of that fear. Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
And people have to get saturated like you to be
right,
able to make a decision, because sometimes we tends to say to a person, oh, why you don't leave that person, and the person punched this person and the person still with that person. But it seems like the person who's punching, like who the person who's receiving, have more space to receive more abuse until that person say no more. And that's where start the transformations, when the person like wake up, like, come on, what is going on with me that I'm letting this person hurt me all the time?
right, exactly. Exactly. Like, why stay in this marriage when he's constantly insulting and demeaning me, why stay in a relationship where he wrote letters to the New York State Police and Sheriff's Office, and he actually wrote to my therapist and to the mental health department, and that didn't work. That backfired. It ended up backfired because he wrote letters to basically rip me apart and make me feel like I was crazy. Oh yeah, she needs to take medication. Sure. I mean, I was feeling anxious and overwhelmed at the time, and they put me on a medication, which was fine with me because sometimes you have to take something to go through something. So, because I had anxiety, they put me on what's called Clonopin for 1 year. And when I moved up here to Saratoga Springs, where I sought refuge, and I have no regrets because this was where I wanted to live. And shortly after, they weaned me off the medication. Yeah. And I stepped
Wow.
into my own power, and I became involved in the online space, which changed my life. And I partnered with a health and wellness company that changed my life. And I the same day that I signed my divorce papers was the same day that it's called rank advancement. You rank advance, you get promoted. So that was totally life changing to me. Totally life changing to
It
me.
was it was like life was telling you, like, leave this relationship, and the moment you sign, then the door open for you. Like, you see, you sign, you get your encouraged to get out, you already learn what you have to learn.
Right.
Now let me open the door to show you that yes, you can live by yourself and you can support yourself. And a lot of people can't don't believe on that. They just
No.
stuck on it because they think that nothing is gonna change. And we know that things change when you make the decision to say to anything that happens to us that is bother us, to say no and move forward. Everything change.
Right. Exactly. Everything changed. Exactly. Everything changed. And I was the one who had to surrender. And meaning I took ownership, no longer played the victim, and I made a 1 year plan to leave. And, there were times when I called the New York State Police and I was the one who had to leave.
That happens to me.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
That
yeah.
happens to me. I have to
Mm.
leave in the middle of the night
Me too.
with my daughter. And sometimes we think the enemy is outside, and sometimes the enemy is just sleeping with you.
Exactly. Exactly.
And it's not the enemy, it's just the other person become different because sometimes we do something that they trigger them and they behave the way they behave because, like you said in the beginning and early, you took full responsibility. And I also took full responsibility for my last relationship. I never say
Mm.
I hate him or whatever he did. He's a bad man. No, I always say he's a great man that teach me a lot of stuff to be able to be where I am and to finish writing a book.
Right.
If that didn't happen, I probably would stay there, and my life, it was not changing, and I was being miserable and eating my life like 51, then 52, then 53 in the same environment. And I got to a point like you, like I said, no, I want to
Mhm.
leave. This is not what I want. This is not what I want to be doing in the rest of my life in this relationship. There's a lot of toxicity. I was toxic. I feel toxic. I feel sick. I was different. I see pictures of myself
Mm.
3 years ago to now. I said, wow, I was toxic.
Oh, you're amazing, Gloria.
So, Angeline, do you forgive your ex husband?
Yes. I do forgive him. Actually, I forgave him when his sister passed away. And this was, I believe, in August of 2014. Yes, that's a good question. Forgiveness is important because when you forgive, it doesn't when you forgive someone, it doesn't mean that you let them back in your life. Because holding
Right.
a grudge is not going to serve me. Holding a grudge is just going to weigh me down, if that makes sense. So, I forgave him. Yes, I did. I
And
did forgive him. And, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to let him back in my life. It
no,
just means I'm just letting go.
the forgiveness is the key of the miracles in your life. The forgiveness is the key of your peace, of your freedom. Because if you all have, like you say, grudges and you hate him and whatever he did to you, if you choose that man and for a long time he was the love of your life, it's because life took you and him in a different directions, and that's why things got heated. But things, they need to be heated for you to be able to write the chapter that you write, and to be able to be a writer and to be a coach and to be able to talk and empower the women to feel free and to say yes, it's possible.
Right. Anything is possible. Anything is possible as long as you trust and believe and trust the process. Because I had to trust the process, especially the legal process, because it took one
Mhm.
year for me to, for the divorce proceedings, and we had no children. So there were no children involved, and that made the process easier. So just trust the process and believe in yourself, because when you believe and have faith in yourself, amazing things happen and the world of abundance opens up. And I wake up every morning to this day feeling happy and grateful. As long as I have air in my lungs and I can breathe, it's a good day. It's a great day.
Exactly. So you write this book, and the name of this book is The Change 20,
Yes, change
right?
for 20 insights into self empowerment.
I have it here. Hold on. I put it in the banners, but I don't know where I put it. Here it is.
There it is. Yes, the change. Yes. So I partnered with with my colleagues, and I am a published author of a book series called The Change Book, and it offers insights into self empowerment. And Les Brown is on the front cover.
Right.
Les Brown wrote the foreword, and Les Brown inspired me through that whole situation. And the publishers invited me to be a co-author because they saw my story as very empowering, meaning, to empower domestic violence survivors that they can thrive and they can live the life they truly deserve to live. So I wrote a chapter, and I wrote, it's on page 143. So I
143.
read, yeah, 143. And, I wrote my chapter. I wrote my story. I shared my story. You ready for this?
Yes.
32 countries. So this book is distributed in North America, Europe, and Asia, and the United Kingdom. So all over in 32 countries. And I am on page 143. See?
Yeah.
See? And
Yes.
then I share my story and my passion. And who is Angeline? See, people want to know who I am.
Of course.
Right. People want to know, how I transformed, and made that transformation and made that leap of faith to, leave my abusive husband, to leave. And I did. And I did. And, I invested in myself. I invested in mentorship, and I still have a mentor, to this day. And, my mission and vision is to empower and heal women worldwide, because this is a worldwide epidemic.
Yes.
Domestic violence is a
Yes.
worldwide epidemic. So, my goal and my mission and my vision was to start the podcast, Let's Break the Silence with Angeline, 4 years ago, based on a vision and a dream. And thanks to our darling goddess sister, Kia Baker, who gave me a 2-hour crash course in starting a podcast. But my podcast, 5 years later, has grown to 32 countries. Not 32 countries, I'm sorry, in 12 countries. My goal is 32
And
countries,
you
but
know what? You mentioned Kia Baker, and Kia
yeah.
Baker also was the one I mentioned her in my book. She was the one who told me to tell my story when I wanted to be a podcaster, because she was my coach to coach me to be a podcaster. And I want to talk about my story, but I had a lot of fear, and I
Mm,
was like, I don't know if I want to be able to tell my story. And she empowered me, and
see?
all the way, Gloria, tell your story. Gloria, tell your story. So she's in my book because I want to honor her on that. Like, you know, I always remember the people. I always remember everything, but I always remember the people that are key in my life, that help me to move to the next step of my life, to the move, to make a decision, to
Mm,
make like something that you don't know what to do, and someone push you. And she was one of those. And you mentioned that also Kia push you to create your own
yeah,
podcast.
she empowered me.
She empower you. She's a
Right.
she's a superwoman. So I
We
love her.
met, yeah, we met through a book club called Open Books, Open Mind.
I
And
remember.
yeah, so we were studying, remember Dr. Joe Dispenza,
Right.
Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And, and that was life changing. And I became so empowered because she was doing her podcast. And I was like, you know what? I want to start a podcast to empower women to share their real life stories of how they are thriving, share their stories of real life stories, because we've been too silent. No more silence.
Yes. No
It's
more.
time to break the silence. So that I came up with the name, and I bought the domain name, and that was life changing. That was life changing.
Yeah, but let's make like you said, let's break this silence, but also very respectfully, because
Right.
yes, there's some men also that are suffering because they also have women that abuse them. And
Exactly.
so it's like, it's everything, it's a little bit of everything in life. But I know you are advocate to women because that's where you was. And there's a lot of women out there too that they need that push, that you are helping them with
Right.
with your story.
Exactly. Empower them to share their stories, because their story will have an impact on someone else, on another woman who's gone through domestic violence. So, in essence, I'm blazing the trail for women to share their real life stories, because that's so important today,
Yes.
especially in the world we live in today. Because we live, when COVID hit, I started my podcast, I remember 2 months before COVID hit. And I recall when COVID hit, like it was, domestic violence went way up
Way up.
because everything was shut down, and people reached out to me like, what do I do, what do I do? And I had them Google resources for women, because in New York State, they have shelters. And I actually worked with not a counselor, but a caseworker from Battered Women's Services. So I worked with a caseworker for 1 year during
Wow.
my divorce. So there are resources. They will eventually find you a place to live. In fact, I helped 2 women find a place within 48 hours. And both of them had a child. But see, they were afraid. They
Of
come to me in
course.
a panic. They're in a panic. Where do I go? Where do I go? It's like, we let's take some deep breaths. Let's relax. And I said, there are resources, and I'm going to show you right now. We're going to go to Google and we're going to search shelters in, let's say, North Carolina or in Kentucky. And then this one girl came back to me and she said, you know what? They found me a studio apartment. And this was in New York City
Yeah,
when everything shut down.
they do that.
Yeah, they do that for you. You just call the hotline. You call the hotline and you tell them, that you are fearful. Tell them that, you are fearing for your life and you need a place to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talking about your story, you been healing more and more and more.
Yes. Yes. Hearing more and more. Yes. There are, now there is more people who are coming out and sharing their stories of how they overcame domestic violence. And I'm in my fifth season of my podcast, so I have women who have overcome trauma and they've become best-selling authors, coaches, and I'm sorry, authors like the both of us, who, want to empower women. So between my podcast and the book and the coach and my coaching program that I offer for domestic violence survivors, I mean, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it out there. I like I said, I mean, there's a lot of women who are blazing the trail and I commend them and I've had them on my shows, but now it's my turn to step it up and to be that woman to blaze the trail. To
Right.
blaze the
Well,
trail.
I'm so proud of you to be
Thank you.
able to be so vulnerable and expose your case and tell the story, and to be able to help women and day by day, like a minute at a time, and and be
Right.
a minute of the time, and so and be able to help and in a way that the women can be able to make the decision, say, you know what, this is too much abuse, I can't take it anymore.
Right, exactly. 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 Absolutely true. There is life after domestic violence.
Yes.
There is life after domestic violence. So,
There's life after divorce, because also
life after divorce. That's
yes,
right.
there's
That's
life
right.
after divorce. It's painful in
Mm,
some women, there's very painful because to change the status, not the status of like, oh, I'm here, no, it's just the status of being married and then single, and then you encounter all this responsibility by yourself, when before the husband and you was having all the responsibility. Now is your responsibility completely on you, that things have to work
exactly.
regardless. And
Exactly.
some women are married for many years, never work, and they decide to divorce at the 50 years old. And then they say, well, what I'm going to do in my 50s is, if I never do anything. And there's a lot of women there that they stay in the marriage because, the age, because they
Right.
think they cannot reinvent themselves again. And yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I could do it, you could do it. If we could do it, you could do it.
Yes.
You
I
all have
make
the power within you.
yes, I make the decision to get divorced at my 49, and the divorce got through. It took like 3 years. It was
Mm,
very painful. A lot of change for me. I went through a lot, but when you make that kind of decision, you have to know there's a lot of things are gonna change, and they're never gonna be the same. So you have to be also ready for that,
right. You have to be ready for the change.
for
Exactly.
the change.
Now, for me, I was divorced when I was 48. I started divorce proceedings when I was 47, and I became free. at 48, and now I'm 60. Don't tell anyone. 60 is the new 40. And I'm going through a transformation right now. I'm going through a reconstruction, myself right now, looking to move.
To
We talked
Florida.
to
Yay.
Florida. Yeah. So, it's coming, everyone. It's coming. And,
Yes.
I see, you know what it is? One of the things I learned from my mentors is set your intentions. Set your intentions. So I drew a line in the sand tonight and I said, I am moving. And I know why. I'm not going to disclose it, but I know why I'm leaving. So, and that's fine. That's fine
Exactly.
because God is putting me into a brand new place and, I'm thriving. I also work full time and I got promoted today. So there's
Yeah.
a lot, so it's good. And also my business, my podcast is thriving. Now people are asking me to be a guest on their shows.
This is awesome.
Yeah. So you want to talk about a breakthrough in the last 3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you too,
Divorce,
Gloria. Yeah, you too.
divorce and decisions, life changing is tough, but is it's fun at the same time. After you
Well,
done it and after it's behind you, like, oh my God.
I told you you could do it. I told you could do it. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember? Start going out by yourself. Like I would go to yoga classes and I would go, like, I would go out a lot. I don't go out as much as I used to, but I'm going to start to go out again and start to meet more people and move and be in a new place and meet new people. And I'm very excited about that. It's just a revelation that happens. See, when epiphany happens and you reach your breaking point, like I did, because I've been wrestling with this issue of moving for the last year. So finally, I've decided that I'm going to move. I'm going to relocate and yeah, just
In my case, I just also reinvent myself at my 50s. I
yeah,
finished writing my book at
yes.
50. I create my coaching business that is gonna launch the day of my book. You know,
Oh, I'm super excited about that. Oh my
it's like
gosh.
I cut my hair completely.
I saw
I
that. It looks
Yeah,
great, by the way. I love your
thank, thank you. I decide not to have. I decide to just focus in my baby, my book, and not have a relationship with anybody.
there you
So
go.
I can be happy with myself and be ready for that man to come in my life to find a very relaxed, powerful, outgoing, independent woman. I always be independent, but I was dependent to my husband for many years too. So
Mm,
I kind of forgot to be independent. So now I'm like recognizing and
yeah,
restoring that power that I had before, because I
that's
did
good.
have a lot of power before in
Mhm.
myself. I create businesses before, very successful, and then my relationship took away that for me.
Yeah.
I let that relationship took that from me. It's not the relation. I did. So, like
Uh,
you said, full responsibility. So now I said, I know who Gloria is. It's now to bring Gloria back. And so I'm into that right now. I'm so excited and happy too.
and I'm excited for your book. And I read the first chapter last night and I was nearly in tears. Nearly
Somebody said to move there. I think he's in
changed
Boston.
to here.
Yeah, I think he's in Boston. I don't
Yeah,
know.
he said, I don't want to live in Boston. No.
It's too cold.
It's too cold up here. It's been cloudy here for the last 3 or 4 days. And I'm just like, I cannot, no more, no more.
Angeline wants to he wants to find a shark.
Yeah, probably.
Florida.
Right. There you go. There you go. There you go. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, but change and transformation is possible, and you made it work. And I know that you went through a lot of trauma.
A
When we
lot.
first met, you were going through a lot.
A lot. I remember that you want to interview me in your show, and
Yeah.
I said, "No, I can't right now. No, I can't right now." I had a lot of emotional, dealing. Like I was dealing with a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot like overwhelmed. I went to Costa Rica for three
Yeah.
months to be able to see if I can be by myself. It was a big journey, and I was coming from from a huge trauma that happens to me 26 years ago when they kidnapped me. So
Oh
it's
my
been a lot for me, but it's been amazing, amazing life to be able to transform all that.
Exactly. Exactly. And you shared your story. See, you stepped into your own power and truth, and you shared your story. And now, not only that, with the book launch, you're launching your coaching. You're going
Yes.
to change so many lives, Gloria. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I already have the PDF, but I'm gonna buy the
Thank
book.
you. Yeah, because what I share with you is just a copy that there are also, I'm asking people to read it to see if they can find like any kind of little mistakes in there so they can tell
Yeah,
me, so they can correct it. So by the time my book comes out, comes with no errors. Let's see. and
right,
and
right.
and and also listen to the opinion of my private group. So you're
Mm,
part of the private group that have my book and the first people to read it. And my book is about a kidnap story. That's about transformation. I was 90 days and held in captivity in the dark, and also I had to find the light in that darkness to be able to continue living and be in the survival mode for 90 days. So everything went out of like a walk. My nervous system, I got depression, I got more anxiety. I went through a lot of emotionals, like a roller coasters. I also forgive. I also love being kidnapped. Not love being kidnapped, but I love someone being kidnapped because I did have Stockholm syndrome, and this was something that nobody knew about it. I was like afraid to talk about the Stockholm syndrome, that it's possible for you to grow in an emotional connection to someone that is kidnapping you. But and we don't go far from your story, because your ex-husband punched you, broke your nose, and you stay there. So I was with the kidnapper, loved the kidnapper because the kidnapper was keeping me alive and giving me the food
I
and taking
saw
care
that. I read that. Yeah,
and taking care of me. So
right.
your story and my story, yes, it's a different environment. That the Stockholm syndrome is very popular in many many relationships, and not only for people that are being kidnapped. Because the Stockholm syndrome, a lot of people don't talk about it, because when we go through that, we feel shame to talk about it, because we think that people is gonna shame us, like, wow, she was kidnapped and got in
Yeah,
love with the kidnapper. How that come, like, you know and that took me 17 years to be able to process that and to be able to talk about freely. And I
right,
was like afraid to tell my father and my mother, and I had to do that in December to be able to be free, to be able to talk the story. And I'm so glad that you know I did that, because I was not be able to maybe launch the book, and I always was
mhm,
gonna be like, I don't want my father to see that, I don't want my mother to see that, or I don't want my brothers to see that. And I said, no, I'm gonna tell them exactly what happened, because
right.
we didn't have that conversation. Because when you get out from that and you go through Stockholm syndrome, you don't tell anybody. It's like I remember saying to myself, this secret is gonna go with me until the day I die. Nobody's gonna know that. But you
Right.
know that the life or universe they don't want you to keep anything. They want to make you to leave everything here for people to understand. But I didn't understand that,
Right.
like, long time ago. I didn't understand. I don't even understand why I was kidnapped for, and
Wow.
why my destiny, why my soul decide to choose the path of being kidnapped. And then I found out that I came here to learn about freedom, about
Mm.
freedom on my soul, freedom on my heart, freedom of my the way I thinking, freedom in my mind,
Sure.
and to be free in any relationship. And I find out that every single relationship that I had after the kidnap, I had the Stockholm syndrome, because I get attached to them in
Uh,
survival mode, because I thought I couldn't survive myself. So
got it.
this 3 years is being a process of that. Like, I want to be alone because I choose to be alone,
That's how I am too.
and I want to see why I need to attach. And then I find out that I need to find the freedom in my soul, the freedom in myself,
Mm.
be able to be happy with myself and peace, to be able to one day, that other person is gonna appears in my life. But it's been a big journey to be able to write that book. And writing that book, it was very hard for me. I cry a lot. There was days that I couldn't write, and I had like my coach behind me. Gloria,
Mm.
you need to do this, you need to do that. And I wanted to leave the syndrome in Stockholm out of the book. And that coach say to me, Gloria, if you're gonna tell the story, tell the whole thing.
I
So
agree.
so I
That's
said,
what
you
I
know
did.
what? I'm gonna do it. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care what people think. I just care about the message they are behind that. That Stockholm syndrome is not only happen when they kidnap you, they also
Mm.
happen in relationships, toxic relationships, that you know that somebody's abusing you, and you're
Mm.
so afraid to leave. That's
Right.
Stockholm syndrome.
Exactly.
Kind.
Right. Right. And your coach was right. Share everything.
Share everything, Gloria.
Right. Exactly. That's freedom right there.
It's freedom, because if I keep that a secret, it was
Yeah.
something on leash.
Right.
And there's a saying that we say in Espanol, that we there's nothing, between, what they say, between earth and heaven, there's nothing secret.
Right.
So
Exactly.
I needed to say it, but I didn't know how to do it. And in December, when I went out to my country to tell my father about that I have a relationship, and a loving relationship with one of the kidnappers,
Right.
I was so freaking nervous to tell my father that. And you know what my father said to me? I said, Gloria, you did what you need to do. You did what you need to do. You needed to do that.
Right.
It's fine. That's your
Exactly.
story. That's your story. And I'm not gonna condemn you. I'm not gonna judge you for that. And it was for me like, thank you. Like, wow. And
Mm.
then to my mother, it was a month ago when she was here. And I was also like afraid. And then my
Mm.
mom say, I don't care. I only care that you are alive and you're here. And
Exactly.
and if you have to had that relationship with that guy for you to save your life, I have no part on that to say anything to you.
Exactly.
Anybody, if they are constantly telling you they're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill you, your your family is not doing this, blah 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 blah, because everything's in the book. What you do as a woman, you trying to see one of them, can seduct them and be able to got that guy to save you, to protect
Right.
you, to save you, to protect you
Exactly.
from the other ones. So that's what I
Exactly.
did. It wasn't a strategy that I didn't plan it. It was a strategy that come out from my survival mode.
Okay.
And I couldn't understand that until many years later after.
Right. Okay. See? See that? I'm very proud of you. I'm very proud of you. You're, like I said, overcoming that kind of trauma, being kidnapped and being held captive.
Yes.
When I read the first chapter last night of your book, Gloria, I cried. I was like, oh my goodness.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It was hard. It was hard,
Mm,
but also it's a blessing. I don't want people to understand, oh yeah, it's a blessing. No, it was something that tough that make me the person who I am today, and also be able to be resilient, to be free.
mm,
Because they kidnapped me, they took away my freedom, and but also Angeline being kidnapped, they never, they never, they never take away my freedom of my mind. So it
yeah.
was like very weird. Like, yes, I'm kidnapped, but they can control what I think. So I have freedom of thinking whatever I want. And after I got released, I got auto kidnapping myself because yes, I was physical free, but at the same time, I was auto kidnapping myself with all the emotions, all the fears that that trauma caused on me. So it
Right.
was, it's like double meaning of freedom. So I had to go through the physical, captivity to be able to
Mm,
feel the kidnap, and then to feel the auto kidnap on the fears and everything that comes after kidnap. You get worse after they release you if you don't take care of yourself. And in my case, I didn't have the chance to see a therapist or coach, so everything was like raw to me for many years. So
yeah.
I didn't know why I act this way. I didn't understand why I was so defensive. I
Mm,
didn't know why I fight for everything. I didn't know why I always like I don't know, very like people see me today, they cannot recognize the Gloria who was before.
yeah, me too. I mean, when I see your transformation, I see the real Gloria. I do. I do.
Thank you.
Healed. Yeah, healed, completely healed, and just feeling so empowered. I mean, I can see the excitement in you with the launch of your book and your coaching, and I can identify with that because I launched my coaching business last year, so I understand. And now I launched the book, and now I am a guest column writer in a publication out of the UK. People are watching us.
Yes.
People are watching us, and I'm so proud of you, Gloria. I'm just so proud of you, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, and also this experience took me also to think about families because I didn't know what was exactly my mission. I said, okay, to write a book, and where is the mission? Where is the service that I have to leave because this situation? And then I
Right.
found out that I heal families. I heal my own family,
There you
and
go.
I heal, and I'm like the healing link of the family. And every single family, there's a healing link, and
Mm,
that's the one who heal first themselves, and through that healing, the other members of the family start healing. And for you to see the abundance and to receive abundance into your life and to be
right.
successful, you need to be in peace with your father and mother and your siblings. So you have to
Exactly.
create a peaceful environment in your primary family to be able to
Mm,
see abundance and success in your life. So I knew that. I touched my father. I touched first one of my brothers. Then my other brother came along and say, "What happened to my baby brother? I want that. I want exactly what happens to him."
Right.
So I said, "Okay, are you willing to work with me?" Because a lot of people say you cannot work with your own family. You cannot coach your own family. That's not my case. They came to me that they want me to coach them, and I
Wow.
did. And I
That's
coached,
good.
and even my father, that was a huge case, because my father don't believe in anybody, and even now from a woman worse. And this time in
Yeah.
December, he opens to me, and like for me was like, I was like, This is real." And he said, "I need your help. I want you to help me. I want you to guide me. I want this and that and blah blah blah, blah." And I said, "Wow." And then he started, his business start like doing good again, because his business was kind of stuck when I got there in December. And then right now is blooming. That is because he's doing the job. And he said to me, "Because of you." I said, "No, that's not because of me. It's because of you that listen
Mm.
and make the changes that I suggest you." So, and then my mother is like, and then I still working with my daughter, because that's like the tough one.
Oh yeah.
But,
Oh,
it's something that is a continuous work of life, is a continuous work of transformation. So that's what I be doing,
that's
to be
good.
able to teach and to be able to help families to build
Exactly.
that peace.
Right, because you have a broader market. See, you can market, you can, work with families.
Yes,
That's
that's
important.
what I want,
Good, and you'll get it. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about
because it's so easy. It was not easy. I know the path. I know what to do to heal the family, and a lot of people wants to heal their family. I know a lot of people want peace in their families.
it. Mm,
So that's what's the mission to they give me. If I heal my own family, I can heal any family, because
absolutely.
the most harder one is their own.
Oh, tell me about it. And I come from a Greek family.
You know how they are too.
So I know how they are, right? Right. A lot
But
of them are set in their own ways, especially, I mean, my dad is 90 and God bless him, you know, but they have that, they're the old school.
yeah, my
Yeah.
father too, and he opened, because through my energy, through my transformation, I didn't do anything. He just asked me, "I want you to help me." And I said, "Are you ready?" He said, "Yes." And
Right.
then it was easy. It was easy for me, because it was through me,
Through you. Exactly.
through me.
Exactly. Exactly.
So we are going to the end of our episode today. So
Yes.
anything you want to say tonight to those people that are suffering and they are in a very toxic relationship? What do you say to them tonight?
Well, I have a message here of encouragement and hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And there is a way for you to break free from that toxic relationship. First of all, life is too short. We're
Very
meant to live
short.
a long life. So when you start to, focus on gratitude, meditate. I do gratitude and meditation every single morning without fail. And I connect with the Lord in the morning, first thing in the morning, and I still do that to this day. But you are not alone. You are not alone. So seek help, and you can do it. And you have me as your support person and as a coach. I'd be more than happy to help. Be more than happy to jump on a call. Just to get to know each other. I want to know what you're going. What what is making you feel stuck. Why do you feel so stuck? You don't have to feel that way, because let me tell you something. I mean, my life was on the line, and I knew that I had to make a plan and move and leave and make all these plans and take action. So don't just sit there in sorrow, because there's only so long that you could be in survival mode. It's time to make a change. And guess what? Your story is going to impact someone else's life. So never give up on yourself. Never give up on yourself. You've got this. And, healing is a process. Time to peel back the onion.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Angeline, one more time, I'm going to ask this question that came out to me, and don't tell anybody. How
Oh,
old are you? You said that before. That's
yeah.
what I asked you.
I turned 60 this year, but I
Okay.
feel,
And
but
how many years you think you're gonna live more?
oh, I'm going to live another 50.
50?
50.
So you're gonna live 110
Yes.
to 110.
Oh, yeah.
So
Probably more than that. I know a woman, there was a woman, I think she lived like she's over like 110. She's like 120 years old. I'm like, oh my goodness. We're meant to live a long life. So, it's important.
so that means you have only 50 summers left.
Right. Yeah, probably have more than that. The 60 is the new 40. When you think about it, it's scary. But,
And the 50s are the new 30s.
yes, that's right. The 50s are the new 30s. So enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Yes,
Because, like I
yes.
said, I became single when I was 48. I was married half of my adult life. So, time to break free from those beliefs. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying, telling those lies to yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you're going to make it. You're going to
So
make it.
okay, Angeline, we just and the end of this episode. Thank you so much to be in Unbreakable Life with Glory, the bilingual podcast. And to the next time.
Next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye. Thank you. Well, we went a little bit over 1 hour, but I'm gonna talk a little bit more, and it's just gonna be brief. So, for people don't know me very well, I'm Gloria Londoño, and I'm native from Colombia, but I have many years living in this country. And I just write my book. I just finished writing my book. It's coming out in April 24. And I'm so excited to share. It's about a captivity. It's about a kidnap situation that I had when I was 25 years old. Now I'm 51, going to 52 in July. And I also a healer link that I help families to heal. And if you are listening to me and you like what I hear right now, you probably are a healing link of your family. That who are the healing links are the people that you transform yourself first, and then your family is start to transform like a domino effect. So what I do is help you to achieve that, to achieve the peace of yourself, and then the peace of each person of the family, and for you to see the success, to be able to see the success and the abundance in your life. And if you have issues with your father and you have issues with your mother or your siblings, start recognizing what you have the issues with them, and start if you can forgive them, and because they are there for you to teach you unconditional love. And when you resonate with what I said and you understand what is unconditional love, you probably are the healing link of the family. And I'm here to help you to do that. So on April 24, Flourish in Captivity is coming out. Is right now in Amazon for pre-order. So if you want to get want to be the first people that have the copy of the book, You just go to Amazon and reserve your spot. And don't remember to share and like and subscribe to this channel. Then because I'm gonna come to talk more and more about healing the families, about depression, anxiety, and PTSD, like I always been doing. I had a maybe 3 months that I was not podcasting because I was busy doing my book, finishing my book, and I need this time. So thank you everybody to be here tonight, and I wish you the best, and always always look for freedom in your life, in every single corner of yourself. So take care and have a wonderful life. And here is Gloria Londoño. Ciao ciao. I love you all. See you next time.